Ranking Member Durbin, members of the Senate, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak about the impacts of mass deportations on children. My name is Samia Mahmoud, and I am from a suburb just outside of Minneapolis in Minnesota. I am a senior in high school. I am a student school board representative, and I am a community member that gives back to the people who provide for me. Before I talk about these impacts, I want to relay a quote to you said by our very own president. Filthy, disgusting, dirty, ridden with crime. The only thing they know how to go after is ships. That's exactly what he said about the Somali community in Minnesota and all across the United States. Yet this rhetoric hasn't just been said about the Somali community. It is said about the Hispanic community and many other communities that are present in Minnesota and all across the United States. Operation Metro Surge began early in December of last year, where 3,000 federal agents were deployed into the Twin Cities and the surrounding area. This impact that this operation left was devastating on our community. People who weren't the Trump administration's typical American started fearing for their lives, hiding in their homes. Children weren't going to school. I want to talk about the fear that not only I have felt for the last few months, but also my classmates. I was not able to go outside by myself without a person with me. I started carrying my passport after a brief personal experience with ICE agents at my local grocery store. But not only that, during our youth in government program, where we were present at the Capitol, 1,600 students were present at the Minnesota Capitol. ICE agents decided to have a press conference. Students had to evacuate to the basement of the Minnesota Capitol, and that traumatized us deeply. The fear that we felt in that moment where we were practicing being in legislature, practicing being Supreme Court justices was very real. This has affected our community greatly because everything leads up to one question: what if I'm next? This issue is not an issue of political polarization. It is not an issue of red versus blue. It is not an issue that isn't about humanity. This is an issue about humanity. I want to talk about three names: Alex Preddy, Renee Good, and Keith Porter. These three individuals were murdered at the hands of ICE agents, and the Trump administration demonized them. It was not their fault that they were at the wrong place at the wrong time, and ICE agents decided to use their power to kill these three innocent individuals. But that's not it. People were deported from Minnesota. Families were separated. People were impacted. Students were impacted. But it's not people that the government claims that are the terrorists, that are the criminals, that are the drugsters or the rapists. These are the people who go to school to get an education. These are people like me, where I impact my community by representing my school on the school board, where I testify on behalf of my school at the Minnesota legislature, where I try to get bills pushed through the Minnesota legislature. Every day, ordinary and extraordinary individuals are affected because of the lacking impacts of the ICE immigration enforcement in Minnesota. We are asking for ICE agents to continue to leave from our great state. But it's not only been negatives in our state of Minnesota. Tens of thousands of individuals took to the streets to protest against the Trump administration. And so much so that we actually pressured our federal and state governments to reduce the number of ICE agents present by the thousands. Yet, we want to make sure no ICE agents are present in Minnesota so that students like myself, kids, children in elementary and preschools have the opportunity to go back to their classes, see their classmates' faces and those familiar faces. Thank you.
Sure, Senator King.